Ever find yourself wishing you could just talk to a website instead of clicking around? Well, today we're diving into Microsoft's NLWeb project. It's this open initiative trying to make exactly that happen, more natural conversational web interactions.
That's right. It's essentially about laying down the tracks for a more intuitive web, one where sites can understand plain English or, well, any natural language.
Okay, so what exactly is NLWeb? Why is Microsoft pushing it? And, what does it really mean for the future of how we use the internet? We've dug into their own analysis, the launch announcements, even the GitHub repo.
Good stuff. So, the big picture. The vision is to create something foundational for what they're calling an AI web. Think of it like how HTML was fundamental for, sharing documents online back in the day.
HTML for the AI web.
Okay.
So websites generate natural language endpoints.
Exactly. For humans, yes, but also crucially for AI agents talking to other systems. Agent-to-agent interaction.
Agents talking to websites. That sounds pretty futuristic. Microsoft's really comparing this to HTML for this emerging agent web.
They are. The idea is that AI agents could browse and interact with web content for us, which, yeah, that could change a lot.
And there's a protocol involved. MCP.
Right, the Model Context Protocol. If you think of HTTP as unlocking the web for browsers, MCP is sort of analogous, but for AI agents. It helps them understand and interact with website content within this ecosystem.
So it's about making it easier for websites to integrate AI.
Yeah, democratizing it, making intelligent natural language experiences simpler to build for, well, pretty much anyone publishing online.
But it's not just a Microsoft technology, right? You mentioned open.
Correct. NLWeb itself is an open protocol. Microsoft is involved in the MCP steering committee, but the goal seems to be broad adoption through open standards, not a proprietary lock-in. Community contribution is key.
Okay, that makes sense. But how does it actually understand the content on all these different websites? That seems like a huge challenge.
It cleverly leverages existing standards. Things like schema.org structured data, which something like 100 million websites already use for SEO and things.
Ah, okay. So it hooks into data that's often already there.
Exactly. And RSS feeds, too. NLWeb uses these to make the content accessible and queryable in natural language so agents can pull information reliably.
Got it. Building on existing foundations, smart. What about the tech itself? What are the core pieces?
There are basically two main parts. You've got the protocol itself, that's the natural language interface using standard web APIs, delivering responses formatted with JSON and schema.org.
Machine-readable responses, okay.
Right. And then there's an intuitive implementation. This part uses existing website markup, like for products or recipes, and can even provide UI widgets to get started quickly.
So if you've already marked up your site with schema.org, you're kind of halfway there.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
It lowers the barrier significantly. And the structured responses make it easy for AI to consume. Plus, NLWeb is designed to be independent, runs on Windows, Mac, Linux.
And it works with different AI bits and pieces, like different LLMs.
Absolutely. Tested with various vector stores like Qdrant, Milvus, Azure AI Search, and different LLMs, OpenAI, Gemini, Anthropic, Hugging Face models.
Wow, okay. Very flexible. What's it actually written in?
Mainly Python, HTML, and JavaScript. Pretty standard web tech, making it accessible for lots of developers. The documentation looks quite comprehensive, too.
Why is that technical independence from specific platforms, LLMs, vector stores, why is that so important strategically?
Well, it avoids locking people into one vendor, right? It fosters a more competitive open AI ecosystem. Microsoft is signaling they want broad adoption, not just within their own stack.
Right, and using existing markup just makes it way easier for publishers.
Definitely. Reduces the friction. And separating the protocol from the implementation gives flexibility. You can start simple or build custom solutions.
So let's talk strategy. Microsoft announced this at Build 2025. How does it fit into their bigger AI picture?
It aligns perfectly with their push for this open agent web. It's a key enabler. For publishers, the benefit is exposing their content intelligently without a massive site overhaul. It essentially turns any site into an AI-powered app, as they put it.
And for users like us.
It means potentially being able to use natural language search directly on a site, ask follow-up questions, have a real conversation with the website's content.
Are there any early examples who's using this?
Yeah, O'Reilly Media is a good case study. They apparently found it quite easy to implement using their existing schema.org data, and it could handle complex multi-turn queries.
Interesting.
Others like Chicago Public Media, Common Sense Media, TripAdvisor are also listed as early adopters exploring it. And again, being open source with an MIT license encourages this kind of experimentation.
Turning any site into an AI-powered app with minimal code. That's a powerful pitch, especially for smaller businesses. What's the current state of development? Is it actively worked on?
Oh yeah, the GitHub repo is buzzing. Lots of recent pull requests focusing on things like adding more database support. Postgres, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Also new embedding options like sentence transformers, improving the developer setup with Docker, optimizing core functions,
Mm-hmm.
integrating more LLMs like Hugging Face models, and improving documentation. They even added Chinese docs recently.
And it's not just Microsoft employees contributing.
No, definitely seeing contributions from others too, which suggests a growing community interest, which is a good sign. They're clearly working on making it easier for developers to jump in.
So, summing up a bit, what are the key strengths and maybe what are the potential hurdles or things to watch?
Strengths are clear. Leveraging existing data, being platform and LLM agnostic, simplifying AI integration, enabling conversational interfaces, its potential role in the agent web, and being open source.
Hmm.
Challenges. Well, the whole agent web concept needs to mature, obviously.
Mm.
Getting widespread adoption beyond early adopters is always a hurdle for new standards. Things like data freshness, if you're querying live databases, could be tricky. Performance at massive scale.
And maybe a bit of a chicken and egg thing. You need NL websites for agents to be useful and useful agents to drive NL web adoption.
Exactly that. Also, while things like CI/CD might be currently lacking in the repo, the recent developer-focused activity suggests they're moving in that direction. And of course, the quality of the conversation depends heavily on the quality of the underlying structured data. Garbage in, garbage out still applies.
So for listeners interested in this, maybe website owners or developers, any recommendations? And what's the big takeaway here?
For publishers, definitely look at the quality of your structured data schema.org, RSS. Maybe consider a pilot project. For developers, dive into the GitHub repo, maybe contribute. Leverage that technical independence. The big takeaway, NLWeb could really accelerate how we get AI-driven conversations onto the web. It feels like a potential standard emerging for this next phase of interaction.
A standard for making the web not just human readable, but machine actionable and conversational. Almost like a semantic Web 2.0.
You could definitely frame it that way, making data truly interactive via AI.
It leads to a pretty big final thought then, doesn't it? As AI agents get better at using tools like NLWeb to autonomously interact with web content, how profoundly could that reshape our online experiences, our business models, everything? Something for all of us to ponder. Thanks for breaking this down.
My pleasure. It's definitely one to watch.